Remember when you were a kid and mommy would tell you that you're not allowed to see this movie because it has violence and it can poison your mind? Well, there's good news. See, if you have bad relationship with your mommy, that's okay. The progressives are there to take your mommy's place. There are people on Twitter that are so concerned about with the media that you are consuming that they want to be your mommy. They want to embrace you in their progressive, multicultural family. And they are telling you you shouldn't go see the new Batman movie because it's very problematic. It is triggering you. It will trigger you if you go see it. Why? Because in the beginning, there is a very insensitive scene in a movie. Can you imagine like going see a movie and there's something insensitive in the movie? What the fuck? And within the movie's opening moments, a member of progressive royalty, an Asian actor, an Asian character actually, a fictional character, doesn't exist in reality, right? But they did the 23andMe test, like they made the time machine, they got the Nazis, they tested him, and it turns out that he's Asian. And he was being chased by a gang of criminals in Gotham in order to do harm upon him. And that's very problematic. I mean, it blew the mind of the people on Twitter. They couldn't even, they started shaking, they were quivering, they're in hospital now, like doctors are trying to see what's wrong with them. And it turns out that they watched the Batman movie. And they want to prevent you from getting that harm. Like, they want to prevent you from seeing that movie so you don't get the same harm that they are doing. Because right now, they're in the mental hospital and they're going, like, what happened? Oh, I see the new Batman. Man, like, no, seriously, all jokes aside. Isn't this, like, something that would be presented as satire 5 years ago? I mean, read it. The Batman criticized for seeing attempted subway attack on Asian victim. MSNBC News. This is national news, all right? Like, this is mainstream. This is like, warning, you need to know. Let's take a break from COVID. Let's take a break from the war of Ukraine and tell you the disaster which took place at the Batman movie. Asian Americans are a rising concern over a scene. By the way, they don't say like how many Asian Americans. Notice that there's no polling, there's no study. We don't see Asian Americans in the street protesting against the Batman. And the media won't ever look into the racial demographics of the people committing violence against the Asians. I mean, they look at the racial demographics of the victim, but not the perpetrator. Whatever, you know, it is what it is. So apparently it's a scene in the new movie The Batman. So I just want to point this out. Like, violence in the United States is at an all-time high in recent years. Okay, like everyone is suffering from violence, but you can't make a movie about it. You can't make a movie about it, and of course Asia's most affected. I'm just MSNBC News, ladies and gentlemen, give it up! Give it up for the media, the authoritative sources. Apparently, the scene occurs within the first 10 minutes of the 3-hour film when Batman interprets the attack and beats up the assailants, telling them that he is the vengeance. This saves the Asian man who appears to be fearful of Batman as well. Critics are saying that the scene is triggering, and by the way, they also say that it doesn't matter if the attack was racially motivated or not. So, like, this is, like, the problem that I have with progressives, okay? This is the purpose of my entire channel. On one hand, they want diversity, right? Like, they want representation. Like, the movies are the fucking parliament and the Senate. So they want people to be represented in the movies. But you have certain movies, like The Batman, which feature violence, okay? Like, people get mugged, people get robbed, people get shot. Like, that is the whole thing, and Batman has to prevent that from happening. That's why he's the superhero. So when you have diversity in the Batman, and you add, like, minorities in it, then they're like, oh my god, why is violence done against the minorities? Because it's in the freaking Batman! That's why! Like, if they wouldn't have had minorities in the Batman, then they would complain, oh my god, Batman is too white. I'm fucking real with these people. And you know what bothers me the most? These are the people right now making culture for us. Okay? They're sitting on Twitter and they are the ones deciding who gets fired, who is problematic, what type of movie should be review bombed. And I'm the minority, okay? Like, I'm the radical one. I am the one that has the audacity to suggest that this is make-believe. You shouldn't take movies seriously. There is no harm in the real world because this has happened in a movie. Okay, like, I am the one that has to tell these people to grow the fuck up, stop being children. Movies are fiction. Like I'm not part of the mainstream culture anymore. Just by saying this thing, by laughing at these people who are making these articles in the mainstream media, and they're the ones that get to set the culture and the correct way of thinking. Unreal, unbelievable, and it keeps going. Seriously, can we talk about the first 10 minutes of the Batman? No, not with you. Next, the Batman was a good 2 hour movie. Instead, not as good as a 3 hour movie. And if you're Asian American and have been paying attention to the first 10 minutes, in which a gang of subway thugs violently assaults an Asian American man on platform, triggering as hell. Well, do something about it. How about you fund the police then? How about you vote for a politician that gives you law and order in your city? How about that? Vote Republican. Try that for a change. Instead of like going, oh my God, well, yeah, if it's triggering, maybe you should look at the politicians who are in charge of your city, if that happens. Because it's not normal. In Romania, on average, people don't get assaulted on the street, regardless of their ethnicity. And you're a first world country. If it's possible here, it's possible in the United States. See who are your politicians and change them. Change them. Even if they're Republican, by the way. If you live in a city with a Republican mayor and people get assaulted on the streets, change that mayor. Okay? Go to the politicians. They're the ones that need to guarantee law and order in your city. The movie was primarily filmed between blah blah blah. Criticism of the scene comes in the wake of the high-profile death of someone in New York City. Yeah, but like, okay, like it's New York City. It's New York freaking City. Every single day there are tragedies happening in New York City. So that means like you can't have violence in movies and video games now? I don't get it. Like, why are you tying real life shit to fiction? Like, people watch fiction to get away from the real life shit. Yeah, maybe it's fucking cathartic to see the people that are committing crimes getting beaten up by Batman. Like, the bad people got beaten up, right? Like, the Asian guy got away. That's why people watch these TV shows. It's cathartic. It's like, look, this guy is in trouble, but luckily there was someone to help him. That's the whole purpose of superhero movies. And by the way, they also were very popular during the 70s when the same thing happened because of politicians and because of their corruption and the ideology which were allowing for crimes to happen. It was very cathartic to see movies like Dirty Harry, RoboCop, Demolition Man, like all these movies that had the bad guys getting their comeuppance. It was very cathartic. It wasn't triggering at all. It's only triggering if you're rooting for the bad guys. If you're rooting for the bad guys, yeah, it's triggering to see them getting beaten up. Anyway, right, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.